When it comes to fandoms, there's always an overwhelming amount of good towards the universe that's balanced out by the other half, which is everything bad about it. As per People Ruin videos on just about anything I've remotely had contact with in my childhood, or thoroughly enjoyed cartoons, movies, obscure, unknown cartoons, and games, I've seen just about every single bad side there is to a fandom. But there's always one universe and following that rarely falls into this category, and it's done a really good job of following the original source material, where fans make their own adventures and stories, even characters that aren't cringe as fuck. This fandom universe I speak of is the Thomas fandom. My first People Ruin Everything video on this channel was where I covered Thomas the Tank Engine, which is actually my most popular video, and I decided to reflect on the fandom as a whole and point out just the good. How good it is as just keeping the legacy of Audrey's books, the original model TV series, and the characters, and even creating new characters that just fit in with the universe. So let's take a look at some of the best that this fandom has to offer. Just to point out how good this fandom has made its marks in terms of creation, model creation, toy highlights, and reviews, there's an actual documentary coming out about how this fandom really grew and established a long-lasting legacy to the original model-driven TV show, the writing of the books, and it's clear that they're doing something right where even the memes are hilarious and wholesome and never really fall into that edgy for edge's sake category. The bad of this fandom is not even about 10% of it. Let's start at number one, where I think most fandoms are at the basics. The new characters that people create. When people create characters and attach them to an already existing show, the usual reaction from an outside crowd is, "Oh my god, that is cringe." But the reasons for these characters hitting a better mark is because of how they're portrayed, because of how they're written, and how they're voice acted. Let's take a great example, one of the newest additions. Actually, he's technically old, but he's relatively new. They came up with a character named Richard. He just works so well into fan creations of the TV show that you sort of forget that he's a custom-made, original, and well-written character.
Oh, yes, sir. I can manage that.
That's a good engine. Now please wait here for Percy to bring you your goods train. I'd like you to take it to Vickerstown.
Will do, sir.
He's strong, a bit prideful, caring, quirky at times, and a little idiotic, but aren't we always? Especially when he second-guesses himself. But overall, he's a very strong and grounded in reality character. That makes him really relatable. I highly recommend that you watch his debut episode on the German of Sodor's channel. In regards to making tracks to great destinations. He's voiced by Carson, who runs Carson's Video Workshop, that also makes really good productions of Thomas fan stories. But just to get a better understanding of what kind of passion goes into making these fan creations and these videos and episodes, check out Richard's debut episode. It's really good. Steaming in at number two, the stories are damn good. Some are funny.
The accident, you'll both cover the Diesel's job.
Yeah, rats. Fuck!
Some are run-of-the-mill, and some are dark. Like, really dark. I'm actually addicted to the darker entries into the fandom than any other genre or theme. The darker and more grounded stories bring a unique environment to this magical land where talking steam engines live and work. A lot of them having to do with scrap, world wars, heinous crimes, and straight-up supernatural spooky tales. Some of my fan-favorite creations that fall into those categories are Bert's Redemption, Horror at Ballyhoo, A Spirited Journey, and by far the most elaborate and incredibly detailed and well-made supernatural Thomas series is The Horrors of Howland Lake by the Blue Snowplow. I don't know why I struggled there. I highly recommend this 5-part supernatural series by him. It's truly an incredible feature and a collaboration between multiple different Thomas creators of the fandom and other standalone episodes that are really good in terms of dark-oriented supernatural or even reality-based stories are The Half Engine by the Bogey Boy, Where the Bad Engines Go by Daylight 3, Ghost by Victor Tanzig, and Scaredy Diesels by Reneus Productions. That one especially if you want a good laugh.
Knuckle free. It was probably this nincompoop. He's always slipping up like this.
Me? I'll have you know my nincom is also poop-free.
That didn't even make sense.
Now, with what we have for number 3 about this fandom that makes it really good, is the fans themselves. They really put their hearts into it. The voice acting is professional. The production value is awesome. The stories are memorable and entertaining to watch over and over again. The writing is deep and emotional at times. All this goes into these creations, and you would think that it was professionally done by the actual source material. This is a fandom that truly cares about its source material. Like, there's no other fandom like this around. And the fact that they got their own documentary about how it really brings us together and how they put out all this entertainment value is absolutely a monumental achievement by them. The only time where people really make fun of it on the outside is where typical cringe happens. You know, the usual Rule 34 art that should have no place existing in a fandom like this, and weird-ass content that honestly doesn't make any sense to the source material at all, other than it being a pleasure of the creator of it. But even the joke videos and the meme videos are funny, and it's good to see a funny bone in a fandom that doesn't always rely solely on trending shit. Even the funny videos, the memes, the viral videos, the Photoshop jobs that they have done, all of that is funny and taken in a lighthearted and wholesome way. And pulling in at number 4 and the final part of this video, no one really cringes at this fandom. I've noticed this quite a bit lately. No one cringes at this. Everyday people can see the weirdness in a 50-year-old man who loves My Little Pony, but older people who love Thomas are looked at pretty respectfully. I guess you could picture it like this. So, are you gonna bully and make fun of an 80-year-old man who loves model trains, building miniature sets and models, and creating their own stories with what's going on? Probably not. At least I would assume so. I try to assume the best out of people before the worst. Now, with that image in mind, now picture this, which is a stark contrast. Grown-ass men with red streaks in their hair constantly obsessing over a show of talking cartoon ponies who behave like little girls and are aimed towards little girls and go out of their way to talk to kids at Comic-Cons dressed as their favorite pony characters. Probably going to get made fun of. Yes. The documentary on the fandom will drop in the fall of this year, and I'm sure a lot of people are excited for it. All in all, the Thomas fandom keeps on going strong. New content, new stories, new music, new characters, all productions that are monumentally more impactful than the official show now, and the poor new direction it took. While Thomas, officially by Mattel, has been reduced to nothing more than a two-dimensional baby show, we have fan creations that continue the legacy of the original books and the original model series that maintain its original style, format, lessons, and storytelling. I think that speaks volume for what kind of fans and what kind of productions we have with fan content. That's why this fandom is almost untouchable by bad stuff. That's everything great about the Thomas fandom.